My name is Rod Guile, Pine Haven, Wyoming. I'm a volunteer for the Convention States Project. I had some handouts and I guess by your protocol, can't do it. I would definitely like to email it to you.
Yep.
The reason I volunteered years ago, been going on 5 years or more, I really got tired of hearing how our founders were criminals. I did some research. I thought this doesn't jive with the way I was brought up. There is a confirmation bias that if you hear something that flows according to what you feel and what you've heard, then the evidence doesn't really matter. And I thought, I need to look this up for myself. This document that I had for you shows 10 states gave their credentials for their delegates to do whatever it took. You can read it for yourself. You can research it. I can provide the email links if you would like. But if you research it yourself, you're going to see that our founders did everything that was in their credentials. 2 states said to tweak with the Articles of Confederation. The Congress at that time was the first one to bring it that you're supposed to just fix the Articles of Confederation. I want to suggest that they had no play in the convention. You read the Articles of Confederation, there's nothing that says they can do that. There's nothing that say they can call and tell the states to meet up and go over a convention. It's not there. They did everything they were supposed to do and saved the Union. On the ratification issue, 3 documents came out of that convention, 1787. The Constitution, there was a ratification and transition elements that they did not want to put in a permanent constitution. They wanted it separate. And then there was a letter from George Washington explaining how to go about this. The ratification by 9 states was not changed by the convention. They had no power. They sent it on to the Congress, all 3 documents. The flow of that process suggested by the convention was to, if you approve this, send it on to the states, and the states can send it on to ratification by convention. You will notice that even Rhode Island, who didn't even take part in the convention, they agreed to send it to the state ratification conventions because they had no problem with 9 states ratifying. They all 13 states, 26 bodies, plus the body of the Congress, 27 bodies agreed that, yes, let's go forward with this and let's see if the states will ratify. The 9th state to ratify was New Hampshire, after all these bodies agreed that this is what we should do. It's amazing to hear people say that they went beyond their authority and that this convention changed anything. They had no power, just as we have no power in this convention to change anything. We can propose. We can propose all the amendments under those 34 agendas. You've all been to diplomatic and legislative meetings where you have an agenda. Somebody decides that they want to bring something outside that agenda. What do you guys say? Point of order. It's not on the agenda. And that is the end of that debate. It's so simple. And Madison had a great word that he used when he was arguing in the Federalist 40. I tell everybody that the Federalist Papers were a quill and pen Zoom meeting, but it took about 2 weeks or so to get the arguments back and forth. So in all these Federalist Papers, they would lay out the opposition, then they would debate and answer that discussion. But he had a word, cavil. It's frivolous. Some of the arguments are so frivolous, and yet he felt that you had to answer them. He answered the ratification problem by saying Rhode Island was never going to agree to this. So that's why they proposed 9 states to ratify. His argument was, why should 1/60th of the population back then hold up the other process for 59/60ths of the population. Seems pretty rational to me. And then to find out later that even Rhode Island said, okay, we'll send it for ratification to the conventions and see if they want to do it. And that's what happened. Our founders were true blue and inspired by God to take care of this problem that they had. They had Britain waiting to jump all over them. They had states going to go to war. It seemed to work, and it only worked by God's providence because they did what they were told.
I'm here live in Philadelphia at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. When you hear the phrase lives, fortunes, and sacred honor, these are the folks we should think of, those who anonymously gave their lives. Well, today you have a chance to volunteer. You need to volunteer for conventionofstates.com, the movement that's going to save the country. These folks were willing to step up and give everything. We need you to give just a little bit. Go to conventionofstates.com and volunteer today.